Next act, we have Dave Ebert. He's from MTV. He's very exciting, he's very funny. He was in my sketch class show and he did my character monologue and he killed me. Very funny.
Yeah. Hey! Oh, yeah! Make some noise if you're excited to be alive today! Yes! We're here, we did it! I was on an MTV show. I was also the Ethan show, and that was the highlight of my career. So far. Guys, I'm going to heaven. Let me tell you why I'm going to heaven. I was just in the bathroom, and there was liquid on the toilet seat, and I fucking wiped it off. I do that 9 more times, I can kill a kid. It's equal in God's eyes. I think the distance that you hold the mic away from your face is the amount of disdain your body has for what you're doing. Like rappers are cool, the news is okay, stand-up comedy, your hand would just like to go. If you're announcing wrestling, fuck it, man, you failed at something. I wonder how those wrestling guys find out that they're good at it. Like, there's just a day where, like, they trip and fall and they're like, oh! Do something with his voice. A lot of people say that Warren Buffett is like the best businessman there ever was. I think we gotta take a moment and think about the guy who saw the movie about a mentally retarded man who went to Vietnam and his best friend died and his lieutenant lost his legs and the love of his life died of AIDS and thought, I got a great idea for a family restaurant. I was in traffic the other day and I got cut off by an old white van. Yeah, I hate the sense of entitlement of old white men. The next time that you're in an elevator and somebody farts, take credit for it right away. Just look straight forward and say, that was me. You get an elevator full of people that are kind of irritated with you, but one guy who can't figure out what you're about. Good luck focusing on anything at work that day, guy. I'm sure it came out of my butt. If fish have more than 3 fins, they're fucking showing off. It's not a joke, just an opinion. I think the most impressive thing about Daredevil is that a blind guy got a law degree. There's no standardized testing for becoming a superhero. I really can't imagine that they print long law books on tort reform in Braille. It's a lot of very dry audiobooks that man listened to. Let's give Matt Murdock a hand. I think it's incredibly sad that the network TNT's slogan is just a claim to fame that they know the secondary character from Entourage. 60% of people are like, no, I don't even have television. Sorry, TNT doesn't know drama. Hulu knows drama. Have you seen Bosch? Have you seen Bosch? No one's seen Bosch. A man that's over 50 years old, this is a fact, a man that's over 50 years old that has no children or wife stands a 60% chance of being in an Expendables movie. Sometimes when you're walking around in this world, someone's gonna hand you a flyer for a dentist, and it's gonna have a picture of a little tooth on it, and the little tooth is going to be smiling with a mouthful of teeth. Not okay. If I drew a picture of a man and he opened his mouth and there were tiny little men inside, I'd go to jail for distributing troubling material. Salon.com would write an article about me. I'd be problematic. And sometimes the little tooth will have an arm and he's holding a brush and he's rubbing his head. So now I have to deal with the fact that he's got a level of intelligence where he knows how to use tools and he understands hygiene. Which means that root canal is murder. Very different flyer when you've got a tiny little tooth holding a drill up. No! I have baby teeth! I was out with some friends recently, and there was a girl that came up to me, my friend, and she goes, "You look like Ryan Reynolds." And she goes to my buddy, "And you look like John Malkovich." And he was understandably bummed. I said, you gotta think about it this way. Later on, when she's talking about the people she met that night, she's gonna be like, I met a sexy young John Malkovich and a busted ass Ryan Reynolds. You know that scene in E.T. where he's in a ditch and he's all pale and bloaty? The Ryan Reynolds of that. Like Ryan Reynolds if he got stung by a bee real bad. Like Ryan Reynolds just drank his own weight in ice cream right before they filmed Van Wilder. When I was in high school, I knew when you want to make fun of somebody that sounds dumb, you use this voice. Yeah, whatever. And it doesn't matter what they're saying. Like they're gonna sound dumb in the story. And they were like, you gotta be at work on time. Sorry, that dumb guy told you have to do your job. But when I was in school, there's this kid that came up to me one day, he's like, nice shirt! And I was like, what is this kid's fucking problem? I don't know you! And then later I was at lunch and I heard that kid be like, you guys wanna come to my house later? And that was that kid's voice! So I learned an incredibly important lesson that day. That kid liked my shirt. I think my favorite thing about white people is that when white people say they're going on an adventure, they really mean they're going to a place where people live and acting like the stuff's weird. I'm going on an adventure! It's a place where people just do things a little different from the way I do it, and I'm uncomfortable with that. If you don't think white people aren't comfortable with the idea of whatever is their thing, the punishment in Jumanji was going to Africa, which is where people live. There's a significant chance that someone playing Jumanji is just sent home. Depending on where you play Jumanji, you get sucked into the game and dropped into your living room. But it's a horrific fate for a boy whose dad's factory invented Nikes. David Alan Grier probably felt really different after he invented that cool shoe in that movie and then later went to sweatshops. He was like, I don't feel as good about that. That's a deep cut of Jumanji, guys. You have to know the movie. You have to know the movie. Oh, man. A lot of people say if they could go back in time that they'd kill Hitler. I would just tell him his paintings were good. Can I tell you guys something? I knew that joke was gonna go well. Alright.
Oh my God.
There's no way to test if the shirt tears well beforehand, guys, okay?
Yeah!
In World War II, we had the atomic bomb. And in World War I, there were people fighting on horses. Did we skip a war? Doesn't it feel like there should have been a war in the middle where the significant technology was like cars or something? Like battle sedans? World War I was my favorite war because it was a war that had people fighting in tanks and with swords. It's like somebody had a board game and they didn't have the instructions. They're like, fuck it, we're doing it anyway. Fuck it, just make your guys run at your other guys. Ah, they're all dying. Just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. Fuck it. You killed our Duke. You killed our Duke. Oh man, if you were a pilot in World War I, you were just the best at operating a kite with a machine gun. When your gun ran out, a viable option for war was that you took your handgun out and shot things. If a pilot forgot his handgun, his firepower was cut in half. That's why I was the greatest war, guys. Alright, I don't have a lot more time, so I'm just gonna see what else I got here. Okay. Alright, I got a rescue dog, but I'm already married. So I'm wondering, where do I put the pussy that should get me? Is there like a pussy rollover minutes thing? I can store the pussy for later, so that when I'm 80 years old and my beautiful, wonderful wife has passed away, I can go outside and just open a jar and a pussy tornado will take me away. I don't know how pussy works, guys. That's what I'm trying to say. Two more things I'll leave you. One, I do have a dog. He's a rescue dog. He's half dachshund, half black lab. So it's a small dog and a big dog. And whenever I tell people that, they all have the same reaction. They go, oh. How did that happen? Probably without consent. I'd love to tell you the story about some Lothario dachshund with a tiny little mustache that fell in love with a black lab and took her to a park and they did it missionary style so they could look at each other's eyes. But really, a big dog used a little dog as a condom. I was born. Alright guys, last joke. The average child eats their own weight in spiders before they're 13. That's not true, but it is a haiku.